Unfortunately, we can see the potential for a conflict growing here. NATO is making inroads into the region, new military political blocs are being formed, and new weapon systems are being deployed or planned for deployment here, creating threats to our country as well.
NATO faces a fresh security concern after deadly explosion at Rotterdam port hours after Vladimir Putin's warning. An explosion at the Port of Rotterdam in the Netherlands killed one person and wounded several others, with police launching an investigation into the cause of the deadly incident. After Germany, Poland and Bulgaria, is the Netherlands in Russia's crosshairs? Rotterdam blast raises questions. Multiple emergency incidents were reported around Rotterdam's vast industrial port complex, including a blast at a petroleum storage site. Is Vladimir Putin exacting a heavy price from the NATO alliance for its continuous support to Ukraine during the war? A major explosion rocked the Netherlands Port of Rotterdam on August 13, sending emergency teams to a petroleum product storage facility in the Europoort industrial zone. Police confirmed that one person was killed and several other people were injured in the blast, though officials did not immediately release further details on the victims or the severity of their injuries. The cause of the explosion was not immediately clear, and police said all possible scenarios were being investigated, with no immediate indication of sabotage. The explosion occurred at around 11:30 a.m. local time near Moselweg in Europoort, after which police sealed off the location and designated it an active crime scene for investigators. Separately, operator Gunvor reported an incident during maintenance work at its petroleum product storage tank facility, adding to a series of emergency responses across the wider Rotterdam port area. Several people were injured in the August 13th incident, according to company and police spokespeople, while emergency services deployed ambulances, fire crews, and trauma personnel to the port. Authorities were still investigating whether the explosion and other disruptions around the port were connected, with no confirmed link established as of the latest official statements. Rotterdam is Europe's largest port and hosts major oil refineries, petrochemical facilities, energy terminals, and cargo operations, making any disruption there significant for regional trade and energy supply chains. The Rotterdam incident occurred as Vladimir Putin was warning about NATO's growing role in the Asia-Pacific region, but his remarks focused on Japan, new regional blocs and Russian security concerns, not the Netherlands or Rotterdam.
I would like to thank the commander for his detailed reports. Exercises such as the one we are discussing now are necessary both to maintain the fleet's combat readiness and to protect the interests of our country and its security in the Asia-Pacific region as a whole. They are also needed to strengthen Russia's overall military capabilities in this region. All this must, of course, be done taking into account the experience of the special military operation. The commander and I discussed this while traveling to the ship. You mentioned the combat operations of the Pacific Fleet's Marines. This was the 150th Brigade, now the 50th Marine Division. I would like to stress that there are no combat missions that our Marines cannot accomplish, including those connected with these ocean-related challenges. The men act boldly, professionally, and heroically. The fleet as a whole is also fully accomplishing the tasks assigned to it within its area of responsibility. These tasks are becoming increasingly important, particularly given the evolving situation in the region, which we have just discussed. Unfortunately, we can see the potential for a conflict growing here. NATO is making inroads into the region, new military political blocs are being formed, and new weapon systems are being deployed or planned for deployment here, creating threats to our country as well. Tensions are also being heightened in the neighboring Arctic region, which has already been mentioned, including over the use of the Northern Sea Route. Russia has always, and I mean always, supported cooperation and continues to reaffirm its readiness to work together to make use of the advantages offered by the Northern Sea Route, naturally within the framework of existing international maritime law. Countries that want to work with us are showing interest in this. These are primarily our friends, China, India, and other countries. They are discussing these issues with us, and we will certainly welcome joint work both with our friends and with all countries wishing to take part in this important and highly promising endeavor to expand global logistics. It has already been said that the situation in the Asia-Pacific region is not simple and there are plenty of problems. I would only add that we would like to understand the position of Japan, our neighbor, which was mentioned during the reports, under the pretext of the events in Ukraine. And without examining the causes of the conflict, Japan imposed sanctions on Russia that were entirely unprovoked on our part. Moreover, for the first time in its modern military doctrine documents, Japan has listed Russia among the main sources of threats. I would like to emphasize that we do not threaten Japan. We have absolutely no claims against it. On the contrary, it is Japan that has territorial claims against our country, referring to the issue of the Kuril Islands. However, the current situation is enshrined in international documents as one of the realities resulting from the Second World War. Even so, Russia was prepared to seek a solution. We sought to conclude a peace treaty with Japan. Let me remind you that back in the mid-1950s, the Soviet Union signed a declaration with Japan that opened the way towards a peace treaty. Japan signed it as well, but subsequently moved away from it. Later, the new Russia responded to a request from the Japanese government and resumed, I repeat, at the request of the Japanese side, dialogue on ways to reach a peace treaty. From the outset, it was stated that this work would also be based on the declaration I have just mentioned. I should confirm that at that time we developed constructive relations with a number of Japanese leaders, including former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who was tragically killed and who did a great deal to bring Japan and Russia closer together and narrow the differences between our positions. Unfortunately, we are now seeing a change in that approach. Let me stress, it was in no way provoked by us. Therefore, the commander's proposals on developing the Pacific Fleet and improving its capabilities and potential will be supported. All issues related to implementing these proposals will be carefully assessed, and the relevant instructions will be issued to both the Defense Ministry and the Russian government. Those responsible and the sources of funding must be identified. At the same time, I want to emphasize that Russia is ready to cooperate with all its neighbors, including Japan and other countries. I know that the Pacific Fleet regularly holds joint exercises, and I ask that operational exercises continue.
NATO member states have faced a broader series of security concerns and infrastructure disruptions, but each event requires separate evidence-based investigation before responsibility or a coordinated pattern can be established. Germany has raised the alarm after an explosives-laden drone was discovered near a Ukrainian cargo aircraft at Leipzig Airport, triggering a major security operation. German police found an unmanned aerial vehicle carrying an explosive device near a Ukrainian cargo plane at Leipzig Airport during a high-alert security response. Authorities immediately suspended airport operations and diverted incoming flights while bomb disposal teams worked to safely secure and neutralize the explosive threat. Police deployed a specialized bomb disposal robot to remove the drone's detonator before safely disabling and securing the explosives without causing further danger. Leipzig Airport serves as a critical logistics hub for Germany's armed forces as well as NATO military transport operations across Europe. Germany's Interior Minister Alexander Dobrindt described the incident as representing a new level of danger for the country's national security and critical infrastructure. Dobrindt said the operation appeared consistent with a highly professional hybrid threat, stressing that it did not resemble the work of inexperienced or amateur attackers.
First of all, I must say that we have to assume we are dealing with a very serious security-related incident here. My assessment is that we are dealing with a hybrid attack scenario here. All current speculation regarding the explosives, the construction, the question of a drone, the origin, and, of course, who is behind it, is now part of the investigation and should be left to that investigation. Any speculation on these matters may not be heading in the right direction, could simply be completely wrong. The priority right now is to investigate in all directions. However, I can certainly understand the intuition that these threats are not the work of amateurs. Rather, they require very professional preparation and execution. A high level of technical expertise is involved, as is experience in handling explosives. None of this points to amateurish methods. We are talking about a professional hybrid threat scenario that we must continue to address. We are dealing with a contest here which possibly also involves foreign powers. That will be part of the investigations. Actions clearly intended to cause significant uncertainty in Germany. Not just at airports, but in other locations as well. Not only involving drones, but other measures too. And this is part of the hybrid threat landscape we are experiencing today.
Ukraine's ambassador to Germany blamed Russia for the incident, saying Moscow remained the most likely suspect behind the alleged sabotage attempt. Investigators are continuing to examine the drone, its explosive payload and all possible links to foreign actors as the high-profile investigation moves forward. Double security scares rocked Germany's Leipzig Airport after a drone alert and a separate mid-air incident disrupted operations on August 5. A cargo aircraft struck an unknown object after aborting its landing approach at Leipzig Halle Airport before safely diverting to Hanover Airport. The aircraft later underwent inspections in Hanover, where technicians found minor damage to the nose section, according to a Reuters report. Authorities also discovered a drone near the airport runway, prompting explosives experts and police to launch a detailed security investigation. The drone was reportedly found close to an Antonov Airlines cargo aircraft that has been operating from Leipzig Halle since 2022. Ukraine's ambassador to Germany questioned the incident, asking, "Who else could it be but Russia?" while commenting on the developing investigation. Ambassador Oleksiy Makiev said Russia had been conducting what he described as a long-running hybrid war against European countries. The incident forced several flights to divert while police temporarily closed Leipzig Halle Airport's southern runway during the security operation. Leipzig Halle serves as a major logistics hub for DHL and also functions as an important operating base for Antonov Airlines cargo fleet. German authorities have previously linked drone sightings over sensitive military and industrial sites to suspected Russian sabotage activities. Russia has denied responsibility, while German investigators continue examining both the drone discovery and the separate mid-air incident. On August 8, a drone crossed into Bulgaria from Romanian territory and detonated near the Kardam border crossing at around 8:10 in the morning. The blast went off roughly 1 kilometer from Bulgaria's compressor station on the Trans-Balkan gas pipeline, and just 200 meters from Romania's own station. This same Trans-Balkan pipeline carries energy across borders all the way from Turkey through to Ukraine, making it a strategically sensitive target. Romanian radar systems reportedly picked up no aircraft crossing toward Bulgaria in the moments before the explosion occurred. Bulgarian detection systems also failed to pick up the drone at any point before it actually went off, raising fresh questions about surveillance gaps. This blast follows a July 30th incident in Poland, where a Russian Kh-101 cruise missile crashed into Polish territory during a massive overnight strike on Ukraine. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk said recovered fragments from the crash site pointed clearly to a Russian-made Kh-101 missile. That particular missile came down while Russia was carrying out a large-scale strike campaign against targets deep inside Ukraine overnight. With this latest Bulgarian incident, fresh pressure is now mounting on NATO's air defense systems all along its exposed eastern flank.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HT app. Download now.